is the Obama medical care program. That is another huge cost. So whether it's medical care or education or housing, when governments get involved, they print the money, they create inflation in those areas. When you increase the money supply, all prices and all labor prices do not go up evenly. They go up unevenly. So what have we done for education and housing and et cetera? We want, those who are motivated, many with good intentions, and they say, well, we want to help the people who can't afford it and make sure they get an education. So what have we done? We illegally, in the federal government, because there's no authority in the federal government to be involved in education, they take over education and create a department like the Department of Education, which we should abolish. So we pump a lot of money into the educational system. Did the quality of education go up? No. Did the price of education go up? Skyrocketing. So what happens? We have a lot more graduates graduating with poor education, not well trained, and no jobs. And now students getting out of college right now owe more money than all our credit cards. That's how big it is. So the system fails. This whole program of giving everybody a house, that fails. They end up losing their houses. And in medicine, it's the same thing. They pump a lot of money into medicine. They take away our right of freedom of choice, and we end up with high cost of medicine, the quality of medicine going down. But there's a lot of special interests that control these programs. For instance, in medicine, whether the Republicans are passing a bill or the Democrats are passing a bill, guess who line up as the lobbyists? Drug companies and insurance companies, and they're the ones who help write these bills. And this is the reason your cost of medicine continues to go up. But what else do they do? What else does the drug company do to interfere with your freedom of choice? Because right now, your freedom of choice of looking at alternative medical programs and medical care and nutritional products is always being curtailed because of the drug companies. We should make sure that everybody has free choices in all that they do and make sure that you have a freedom of choice in your medical products as well. You know, talking about the war on drugs and all the tragedy comes from that, the addiction rate from conventional medicine and legalized medication is much greater problem than it is on the illegal drugs. But one of the silliest things that we have done is we've taken this war on marijuana and said, well, there is another plant that sort of looks like marijuana, although you can't smoke it and you can't use it for much other than industrial products. We have to make it illegal as well. So what have they done? They decided that nobody in this country can raise hemp. You know, it's an industrial product. It could create thousands and thousands of jobs. In the 19th century, there were thousands of farms that raised this. In times of war, we've encouraged people to raise it because of the alternative things that they can do. So what do? There are a lot of raising in Canada, and they make products, and they sell us the products from Canada. But all we have to do is we don't have to understand each little issue. All we have to do is legalize freedom. And each little... But it's been a long time since we've had a full understanding and enthusiasm for liberty. But the one thing that I have noticed, especially coming and talking with young people, this is where I get my encouragement. The spirit of liberty is alive and well with many young people and a large number of remnant. The people in the remnant have been around for many years and haven't had a voice whatsoever. So I believe you cannot stop an idea whose time has come, and the idea of liberty, the time has returned to us. Something happened approximately 100 years ago when freedom was chopped up into pieces. Freedom is the freedom to run your life and also to keep the fruits of your labor, which means we shouldn't have an income tax either. But for some reason, one group decided they'd defend economic liberty, and that was good. Then another one said, well, no, we're going to not have economic liberty, but we want to protect personal choices and personal lifestyle. But why is it that we have to have two parts of freedom? Why shouldn't freedom be one thing? Our right, our natural right to our life, a natural right to our liberties. And that means that we have control of our lives. We're in charge of our lives, not the government. So, the income tax makes the assumption that everything you earn belongs to the government. And then on their permission, the permission of the government, you're allowed to keep a certain percentage of your income under certain conditions. So that is the destruction of liberty. We did at one time have the greatest understanding and the greatest prosperity of any nation on earth. But now we aren't in that category. Another issue that I think demonstrates the importance of understanding the right to your life and the ownership of your own life is the principle of the military draft. I know we don't have a draft now, but we still have registration just in case. But we've had a draft. I happen to have been drafted back in the 1960s. But when the government has you have all 18-year-olds still sign up, it's a message that we own you, we can take you, we can use you. If we need to fight a war, and it's a legitimate war, we've been attacked, it should be done deliberately through the people and their members of Congress voting for it, and not by one person in Washington, one president, to go to war or under the UN or the IMF, and there should never be a draft, but we should all be willing to defend our country. Freedom has not been around a terribly long time. If you look at all of history, and if you look at the current history around the world today, most of it is tyranny, tyrants, people wanting to run other people's lives. And there are many in Washington that have been running our foreign policy in both parties for a good many years now. They say that America is an exceptional nation. In a way, and our history could show that maybe we have some exceptional traits. But what they mean by exceptionalism and that we have this moral obligation to spread our values mean that we do this by force, that we go over and tell other people how they have to live. But guess what? Special interests get control of that attitude, and lo and behold, they help some countries that are on their way to democracy, they hurt those countries, and then they prop up many dictators. If you look at our history over the past 20 years, so many of the bad guys have both been our friends and our enemies. They're our friends as long as they do our bidding. They're our enemies if they don't listen to us. You know, that we've been offered two types of foreign policy, basically, over these many years. One says that we go to a country and we ask them to do something and to be on our side. And if they do it, we give them a lot of money. Then we go to somebody else and they say, no, we're not going to do it. We're our own country. So then we bomb them. I think there should be another option. The Constitution and our founders gave us another option. They said we should be friends with all who want to be friends, trade with all who would like to trade with us, and be in negotiating form and never be aggressors. But today I thought there were those only two choices, and I offered the third. But unfortunately, we've ended up with a fourth one, which dramatizes how foolhardy our foreign policy is. And it has to do with Pakistan. Pakistan, you know, we are dropping a lot of drones, using a lot of drones and dropping bombs, and killed literally thousands of people. Nobody knows the exact number, but literally a lot of people have been killed there. And there's collateral damage, but we don't count those individuals as people. But at the same time, we're dropping and antagonizing the people, and the people resent it and really despise us doing this. We're giving billions of dollars to the government of Pakistan. And there's a civil strife building there, and lo and behold,